In the previous video, we learnt about certain common mistakes that candidates make in their TAT story writing. In today's video, we shall discuss the common errors which candidates make while attempting their WAT or word association test during the psychological tests of the SSB. Now, first and foremost thing that everyone needs to understand is that WAT is not really a sentence making test, because if you attempt it like that, naturally the outcome is not going to be what the assessors are looking for. So always remember that this is an association of the word that will show the kind of person that you are. So the word association test basically means that the way we associate with that particular word will reflect certain personality attributes of this person. Now, certain common errors which candidates make while attempting the WAT, we will pick up one word, let's say the word fear, and make different types of sentences, and I will keep highlighting what are those errors which candidates make. Now, the first mistake that I have observed many candidates make is that they simply define the word. They give the meaning of the word. For example, they would say, fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by a threat. So this is merely a meaning of word fear, and it is not really showing any of your values. So it may not be a very appropriate sentence. The second mistake which candidates make is that they tend to make a very, very ordinary observation, which you could have made when you were in class 4th or 5th. For example, they would say that soldiers do not fear the enemy. Now, this is a very ordinary information. Now, to make this slightly better, you could actually qualify how the soldiers or why the soldiers will not fear enemy. So if you say well equipped and well prepared or well trained soldiers do not fear the enemy. So now you have made the observation a shade better than a very ordinary observation. The next mistake which candidates make is that they tend to make negative sentences sometimes. Now, for example, if you say that, fear of failure or fear of the unknown causes panic. Now, this is a negative thought process. Now, to make the same thought process positive, you ask yourself, what is it that would not make you have fear of the unknown? So perhaps if you have self-confidence, you will not have fear of the unknown. So same sentence or same thought, if you mention like this, to say that self-confident people do not have fear of the unknown. Now this becomes a observation and not really a negative sentence. The next mistake which many candidates make is that they tend to give a factual information which is very, very ordinary. For example, to say that COVID-19 resulted in a lockdown. Now, this is a fact, but it is a very ordinary fact. Now, to make it better, you could qualify this by saying that fear of transmission of COVID-19 resulted in lockdowns world over. Now you have qualified the previous sentence where you simply said fear of COVID-19 resulted in a lockdown. So you improved it by qualifying how it happened. Now, the next mistake which I have seen many candidates making is that they give advisory sentences or auto-suggestive sentences or sentences where they are preaching or advising other people. For example, if you say that, in order to be more confident or not be fearful of the circumstances, we should prepare ourselves, or we should prepare ourselves so that we are not fearful of the consequences. So we have given an advice. Now, to convert this, you simply ask yourself that what should I do so that I am not fearful of the consequences? So perhaps if you are well prepared, or if you have planned well naturally you will not be fearful of the consequences. So if you say well planned or well organized people do not fear for the consequences because they are ready for it. So it is how you could convert an advice into an observation. Now, the next mistake which I find a lot of candidates making is that they start their sentence with first person, second person, third person. So avoid doing that. Don't say I am not fearful of anything except God, or he के साथ, या starting with Ram so and so. So these sentences that start with first, second and third person should also be avoided. And the last important thing that I would like to highlight here is that many times when candidates find a so-called negative word like kill or murder or even fear for that matter, they suddenly go numb and they go blank and they can't think of any sentences because they're actually trying to make a sentence. So don't try and make a sentence, but ask yourself that the moment this word is flashed in front of me, what comes to my mind? So whatever thought that comes to your mind has to be converted into an observation. But for some reason, let's say if you're unable to come across any observation for such negative words, you could always give a factual information like murder is a non-bailable offense. So it is a factual information which you can give in case you can't think of a better observation. Now, for example, for the word fear, you could also convert it into, let's say, fearless or fearsome. So now you can make it into an observation by saying that people with high courage of conviction are fearless, or fearsome soldiers are respected even by the enemies. So like this, you are able to convert a so-called negative word into a positive, meaningful observation. So these are some of the tips that I wanted to give you because I find a lot of candidates during my interactive sessions making these mistakes, and I thought you could use these and it will be helpful for you in your preparation at home. Thank you so much.